program started 7 years ago by accident. I was taking a drive through Clarkston, the town where most of these kids live in, and I made an accidental turn into this apartment complex. And so as I was pulling out, I saw these kids outside playing soccer, and they were playing soccer in the parking lot with bare feet and this really raggedy soccer ball. And it reminded me of home. I'm originally from Jordan, the Middle East, and so that's how I grew up, playing soccer in the streets of Jordan. And I watched them for a while, and I came out later in the week armed with a soccer ball. And I came out of my car and asked to join the kids' game. And they wanted the ball, and so I said, if you want the ball, let me play. And they were reluctant about letting a woman and a stranger join their game, but they really wanted the ball. So they got in their little huddle, discussed amongst themselves, and then eventually came out and said, okay, you're on their team. And they gave me the team with the chubby kid and the really small one, but it was okay. It was for the love of the game, and so we ended up playing soccer out there in the apartment complex in Clarkston, and eventually we formed our own soccer team. We drove around Clarkston, recruiting kids that were about the right size, showing them the soccer ball, and then eventually incorporated a tutoring program for the kids, and then a 6-week summer camp, and we're in the 3rd year of our own private middle school, the first school for refugees in the country. So it's grown a lot in the last 7 years.
You're saying 18 kids, you said, were in?
I have 18 boys in college right now on academic and athletic scholarships. And if you ask me, first Fugees graduated from college this past May, and he was a goat herder's son. And he came to the United States from Sudan. He escaped the civil war in Sudan, came here to start a life anew, and 2 years after he got here, his family was in a car accident, and he lost his mom and 3 of his siblings. And he had a really bad head injury, and a lot of people gave up on him. But he didn't give up on himself, he just kept going. And he eventually earned a full scholarship to Pfeiffer University in North Carolina and graduated. And he's one that had every excuse to give up and say, that's it, I can't do it anymore. But he always talks about how blessed he is. And they always remind us of how blessed we are in this country. I've witnessed parents berate their kids after games if the kid didn't perform that well. I think if something doesn't change, we're on a slippery slope where that can do a lot of damage to kids, and that we need to create opportunities where the kids are just playing, where they just have fun. Like every summer, I don't coach. We go out and everyone just plays, and we do something called the Watermelon Cup, because a bunch of kids from Afghanistan said they played soccer every summer, and the winning team always got a watermelon. So that's what we do. They go out and they play, and they organize their teams, and we have like 8 games going on one soccer field, and the ball's going everywhere. But it's for the love of the game, and I think if our kids start losing that, it's not going to be a good place for us to be in. Boys coach at the local elementary school, so it's funny when you see them start saying stuff that I would say to them. It's nice.
Talk about that a little, like the coaching program.
So the boys, we give back to our community. It's not mandatory, it's not required, it's encouraged. And so the kids go out and they do, twice a week they coach at the local elementary school. So we have 50 kids in our after-school program there. And they're coaches. And then 3 times a year we do Fugees World Cup, where we rent out the stadium in town. And then we have about 200 kids come out, and the boys run games and clinics and referee it. And I don't do anything, I just stand back, the staff stands back, and the boys do it. And any donations that we'd received or any extra soccer equipment, they hand it out to the community. And it's the way of investing in our community. Like, we want to build our leaders within, we don't want to keep importing them. So the kids always ask, Coach, when are you going to retire? And I tell them, I'll retire when one of you can take it over.
I'm just sort of, when you step back, are you surprised by this? Did you realize that you had the capacity for this? What's your take on 7 years into this?
It's strange looking back at it. 7 years ago, it was a pickup game in a parking lot. And now, I have kids that have graduated from college, and all the kids in our program graduate from high school, and they're all the first in their families to do so. And it was a turning point when I was working with them, when my approach became like, no, they're my kids. Like, they need to be treated as equals, not as a charity case, not as whatever is given is okay. It had to be the best. So the best teachers had to teach them. They had to have the best program provided for them. And I didn't think I could do that. And I haven't done it on my own. I have a great team that helps me get to it. But yeah, it takes events like this for me to like step back and look at it, because most of the time, like I'm plunging a toilet that is blocked up, or yelling at kids to run more laps, or putting a Band-Aid on a kid that scraped their knee. That's the daily routine. So times like this makes you feel like, oh, it's a pretty good thing that we're doing.
And you've got a website for potential funders.
Put a
No
shameless
Band-Aids
plug.
today.
No,
Sorry,
no
what?
Band-Aids, shameless plug, fugeesfamily.org. So that's our website.
Great.
Great.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thanks.